On 5 News, the big banking shake-up. New proposals are unveiled to help customers change accounts, avoid charges and save money. It follows a huge investigation to help us get a better deal. But do the plans go far enough? Also, jailed for life. The killer caught on camera moments before murdering a shopkeeper he claimed had disrespected Islam. Diving delight. Tom Daley and Dan Goodfellow win bronze at the Olympics.
I mean, it was just insane. Like, me and Dan have only been together since October. We're a new partnership. We didn't even expect to qualify.
And the world's most expensive footballer. But is Manchester United's new signing really worth £89 million? Hello and welcome to 5 News. I'm Sian Williams. Do more to save your customers money. That's what Britain's high street banks have been told as part of a shake-up of the industry. Among the measures they've been ordered to introduce are a cap on the fees they charge for unauthorised overdrafts. They'll also develop a new mobile phone app to make it easier to shop around and switch accounts elsewhere. But consumer groups say the report, 2 years in the making, doesn't go far enough. Andy Bell reports.
More than 3/4 of us bank with them, but not everyone is happy with them. For many, the big four have just too much of a hold on the market and so don't feel the need to look after their customers. Oliver Joseph struggled when he was repeatedly charged for unauthorised overdrafts, and he believes banks still use charges unfairly and hit those least able to cope.
At the end of the day, the banks are here to make money, and when you look at it in that sort of remit, we have to pay for the services, I agree that, but I don't think the way that they are charged to the customers are fair. The people who struggle with their overdrafts and the charges, the people living on the lower end of the market, actually end up paying a lot more than the people at the higher end of the market.
So today's report has some proposals to make the industry more user-friendly, including banks should cap monthly charges for an unauthorised overdraft and make sure the customers know what the charges are. Banks should send an alert, like a phone text, if a customer's going into an unauthorised overdraft. And customers will be able to put their banking details into an information-sharing app, which should show them where they can get the best deals. But are they relying too much on the customers being ready to switch?
Well, in the end, it's the customer who chooses who they bank with. It's the customer who chooses whether to go into overdraft or not.
But it's the regulator who could ensure that the banks were giving a better service in the first place.
And what we want to do is to make sure that the customers have the right information to make the right choices for them.
Increasingly, that information will be delivered by new technology, phone apps which make banking and switching easier and which can be set to move money automatically between customers' different accounts. And some believe that shift could open up the market to new players.
If an organisation such as, say, Google or Apple or Amazon decide that it wanted to be a big player in the financial services market, wanted to launch its own banking operation, people then might look at banking differently if they look at it through the lens of an organisation that's already established itself within the commercial environment as a success.
The report says customers could save £92 a year on average switching to a better deal. Will what's proposed today make more do it?
That's a big question, isn't it? Because these proposals rely on new technology. Can everyone access it?
Yes, and technology is held up as the big sort of breakthrough that's coming, which is supposed to give us all a better deal from our banks. But as always, there are problems. Take that data sharing app that they're talking about being introduced in the next 2 years. Now, you sign up for that. But the theory is that not only does your own bank have access to your financial information, other banks, other financial providers could also get access to your banking information. I think a lot of people might have some concerns about signing up for something like that. And also, it's all very well, as this report does, talking about new apps, new ways whereby online we can switch around our accounts and get better deals out of our banking. There are always going to be people who are just uncomfortable with that, who would like to talk to an old-fashioned human being, if you like. And one of the criticisms of this report today is that it really does put a lot of emphasis on new technology. The people who aren't comfortable with using more and more new technology, well, maybe they could be the ones who end up being shortchanged by their banks.
Andy, thanks for that. A man has been jailed for at least 27 years for the murder of a Glasgow shopkeeper who was described as a pillar of of his local community. Tanveer Ahmed travelled from Yorkshire to confront Asad Shah, claiming he had disrespected Islam. He then pulled out a knife and stabbed him repeatedly. In court, Ahmed showed no remorse. Warren Nettleford reports.
The man making the point is Tanveer Ahmed. He's just driven 200 miles from Bradford to confront a shopkeeper in Glasgow about his interpretation of Islam. He's behind the counter. They had never met before, but moments later, he brutally murdered that man, Asad Shah, stabbing him more than 30 times. Today, Tanveer Ahmed was sentenced to a minimum of 27 years in prison.
This was a barbaric, premeditated and wholly unjustified killing of a much-loved man who was a pillar of the local community. He is described as a peaceful and peace-loving man and a family man who went out of his way to show respect for those of any faith.
It was a murder that shocked and united Glasgow in grief. Asad Shah was a well-liked figure, known to take a genuine interest in the lives of the people he served.
We have to join together.
He also took an interest in his faith, often posting videos online. He was an Ahmadi, a minority sect not recognised by all Muslims. They believe there's a second prophet after Muhammad. It was this belief that so enraged the man who killed him. Mansour Shah is a senior member of that community. He knew Asad from when he was a young boy.
He was an extremely generous person, extremely kind, extremely lovely.
He hopes today's sentence will send a message there's no place for religious intolerance in Britain.
In this country, you know, there's no room for people who believe in this manner. Everybody has got a right, you know, to whatever they believe. It's a very personal matter, and nobody should have the audacity and the courage to go ahead and kill somebody just because of somebody's faith.
Asad Shah's family came to Britain after fleeing persecution in Pakistan. They're now in the process of leaving Scotland as they fear for their safety. Warren Nettleford, 5 News.
An RAF helicopter has caught fire after making a precautionary landing on a mountain in Snowdonia. Pictures show black smoke rising from the aircraft. The Ministry of Defence says it was a training helicopter that developed a problem and all 4 people on board got out safely before the fire broke out. A 22-year-old man has been arrested after climbing over a security fence at Buckingham Palace. The man was seen on CCTV cameras in the early hours of the morning. No members of the royal family were there at the time. It comes just 3 months after a convicted killer was caught wandering around the palace gardens. And Labour leadership challenger Owen Smith has been given the backing of the former leader Ed Miliband. In a video message posted on YouTube, he said Mr. Smith, not Jeremy Corbyn, was the best person to bring the party together.
I want a Labour leader who'll reach out to every part of Britain and can do what Labour has done in the past, which is out of this crisis, make it a progressive moment. That's why my choice for Labour leader is Owen Smith.
Slowly but surely, the medals keep coming in for Team GB. Ed Ling, a farmer from Somerset, picked up a bronze in the men's trap shooting. He'd missed out at the last 2 Olympics. And there was a bronze too for the diving pair, Tom Daley and Dan Goodfellow, who put in a spectacular leap before enduring an anxious wait to find out their result. Julian Drucker reports.
This is what pressure looks like. Daniel Goodfellow and Tom Daley about to dive backwards into a pool from 10 metres up. Daley says what came next was more agonising as they waited for their score. But just look as those expressions change.
Come on, Joe, just press those buttons, press those keys. They've done it!
On winning bronze came a celebratory splash. And on Twitter, Daley hailed their success as a joint effort. They've been diving together for less than a year, but are now one of Britain's greatest double acts.
We're a new partnership, we didn't even expect to qualify, but then every event that we've been in this year, we've won a medal, and to come away with a bronze medal, we're just so happy.
For the children of the Tom Daley Diving Academy at the London Aquatic Centre, their idol continues to inspire.
Definitely made me want to do what Tom Daley does, like be able to do all that. Yeah.
Because he started at such a young age, and I feel like if he could do it at such a young age, then I can do it at my age as well.
Ling. Back on land in South America, a West Country farmer. Edling came third in the men's trap shooting.
And he does.
Down on the farm near Taunton, it provided nail-biting viewing for his extended family. Ed's father taught him how to shoot, and he's still his coach. His wife is also trigger happy.
To shoot off to get into the bronze medal match and then to win the bronze as well, I'd be over the moon. I was absolutely sick as a pig watching.
To the Russian slight split.
Lewis Smith won bronze 4 years ago, but for the gymnast who was a TV ballroom dancing champion the same year, this was strictly disappointing.
There we go.
That mistake contributed to his 4th place. The women's rugby 7 squad also missed out on bronze after defeat by Canada. And in the equestrian 3-day eventing, despite this confident performance, Team GB could only scrape 5th place. 24 hours of delight and dejection in Rio. Julian Drucker, 5 News.
A Russian swimmer who served a suspension for doping has been booed as she picked up a silver medal.
Let's count it down. Brazil in front.
Yulia Efimova was banned for 16 months in 2013 for taking steroids. She was only allowed to compete in Rio after a ban for failing another drugs test was overturned. Meanwhile, the host Brazil have won their first gold of the Olympics. It came thanks to an emotional victory by judo star Rafaela Silva. The 24-year-old grew up in one of Rio's notorious slums and took up judo classes after repeatedly getting into fights with gangs. After her win, she ran to hug family members who'd been watching in the stands. And Jamaican world record holder Usain Bolt enlisted the help of samba dancers for his first public appearance in Rio. At a press conference, the sprinter showed off his own moves before telling journalists he's relaxed about defending his titles. Well, here's how the medals table looks right now. Great Britain and Northern Ireland are in 10th position. That's thanks to those 2 extra medals I've just told you about. The US and China currently tying for first place. Still to come in the programme. A dangerous dog or a lovable pet calls for the law on dogs to be changed. We find out what fans think about Manchester United's £89 million signing. And we join the search for a professional tea taster.
What kind of flavours are you getting, John?
Tea flavours.
Tea flavours.
All that and more after the break. Welcome back. You're watching 5 News. More dog bites are being recorded every year, but the hundreds of dogs put down are often not the ones at fault. That's according to the RSPCA. It says the Dangerous Dogs Act, which was introduced 25 years ago, doesn't protect the public and instead results in family pets being destroyed simply because of how they look. The charity wants the focus to switch to irresponsible owners. Catherine Jones reports.
Jack has been judged to look like a pit bull terrier.
Good boy, stay.
And was going to be destroyed under the Dangerous Dogs Act until Ali, who's a dog trainer, persuaded a court to put him in her care.
Come on then. I have children. I don't want dangerous dogs on the street any more than the next person. But we're not talking about dangerous dogs. We're talking about dogs that look a certain way. It doesn't do anything to make sure that the right person can have the right dog in the first place, and that's what we should be looking for. High five. Good lad.
Although a judge can grant an exemption to save a dog's life, over the last 2 years, 366 dogs like Jack have been put down because they resembled a banned breed. 4 breeds have been outlawed since 1991, the Japanese Tosa, the Fila Brasileiro, the Dojo Argentino and the American Pit Bull Terrier, plus any crossbreed which looks like a pit bull. Since the law was introduced, there have been 9 fatal attacks by banned breeds and 21 deaths caused by other types of dogs. while hospital admissions for dog bites in England have risen from just over 4,000 in 2005 to more than 7,000 last year.
There is no specific research that suggests that these dogs are inherently aggressive or any more likely to use aggression towards people. And what we're really concerned about is that many of these dogs are family pets and they're having their welfare compromised because when they're suspected of being a prohibited type of dog, they're being taken away from their owners' homes and kept in kennelled environments, which can be really challenging for dogs.
The government says the prohibition of certain types of dog is crucial to help us deal with the heightened risk they pose, adding the law does allow individual dogs to be exempt if the court is satisfied they are not a danger to the public. The RSPCA wants a public inquiry to examine if the law is working and says the government's focus should be on making all dog owners responsible. Catherine Jones, 5 News.
With the Premier League season about to kick off, the big clubs have been spending the big bucks. Manchester City have paid £47.5 million for John Stones, a 22-year-old Englishman who played for Everton. If you think that's a lot, their rivals, Manchester United, have just forked out nearly twice that, £89 million. That's the largest amount for any player ever for French international Paul Pogba. And as Peter Lane reports, that's rather a lot more than they sold him for a few years ago.
A football transfer with the look and feel of a movie trailer. 4 years after they sold Paul Pogba to Juventus for around £1 million, Manchester United have paid £89 million to re-sign him.
I'm back.
The slick in-house videos continued, featuring, of course, a private jet. There was no awkward question about Pogba once saying United had disrespected him. Instead, this on why he's come back.
I think it's destiny. I would say it's destiny. First, my mom told me I would come back here. And I told her, we never know, we'll see. I didn't finish what I started here, so I think I came to finish it, I think.
So at Old Trafford, a club steeped in history has made history with the huge fee. Do fans think it's too much?
It's a lot of money, isn't it? But we're a big club, we can afford it.
It's too expensive for a player like Paul Pogba.
And they tell me it's just a game. Don't believe them.
Transfer fees have certainly transformed. Dennis Law was the first £100,000 player in the 60s. The following decade, Trevor Francis hit the £1 million mark. Alan Shearer set a record £15 million fee in the 90s. And prices rose all the way to Gareth Bale's £85 million 3 years ago, now topped by Paul Pogba's £89 million. Worth every penny to United in their current climate, according to this sports agent.
This is all about demand and supply. The demand for great players is huge and the supply is very small. So this particular player was available to be bought. And I think that, everyone look out because Manchester United are back. I'm the one they all fear. I was the man of the year last year.
Paul Pogba even appears in a music video with British rapper Stormzy to accompany this record-breaking deal. Football transfers never used to look like this, but then again, they never used to cost this much. Peter Lane, 5 News.
Yeah, they love when I drop that.
Slightly less money for this next job. How would you fancy a job drinking tea? It involves travelling to some of the world's most exotic countries and visiting plantations and choosing tea for a leading brand. Where's the catch? Well, there doesn't seem to be one. Minnie Stevenson went to Harrogate for a lovely brew.
We are quite simply a nation of tea lovers. In a crisis, a cuppa is nearly always the answer. In fact, in Britain, we drink over 165 million cups of the stuff a day. So could this be the world's best job ever? Welcome to Brewtopia. 34 million tea bags are made here a day at Taylor's of Harrogate factory. And they are looking for, wait for it, a trainee tea taster to travel the globe. Yes, really. From Africa to Asia, the job includes 6 months of tea tasting around the world. Nice work if you can get it. Tea taster Henry Bucock and his team sample around 1,000 teas a day and told me how it's done.
What's the trick to kind of tasting tea?
Yeah, we're looking for the key characteristics from each tea. So the first tea here, we've got a black tea. We're looking for strength, we're looking for briskness and flavour.
Okay, shall I dive in?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to do this elegantly. Wow, quite a slurp there. That's how you're supposed to do it, is it?
Yeah, swish it around your mouth. You've got 9,000 taste buds. You're trying to hit every single one.
Hello, how are you?
How refined is your palate?
Cup of tea? No?
I'm armed with some Earl Grey. It's time to test the nation's taste buds.
What kind of flavours are you getting, John?
Tea flavours.
Tea flavours. Anything more? A sort of a citrusy, an alpine feel? Anything? Anything spring to mind?
No, just tea.
Just tea, just straight up tea. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe a bit more work we need to do on that one, but that's fine.
Ginger.
Ginger, okay. Very, very sophisticated taste buds in this corner of the room. Orange, citrusy. Okay. I mean, these guys are good. They could get the job.
It's kind of a black tea.
Yeah. Can you guess what kind of tea it might be?
Earl Grey.
Earl Grey.
Bingo!
So if you're a cuppa enthusiast, this job could well suit you down to a T. Minnie Stevenson, 5 News.
Off for a cuppa myself, but I'm back with 5 News tonight at 6:30. We're going to have all the latest from Rio. I'll be joined by former gold medal winner Sally Gunnell. Plus, as Jamie Oliver shares his joy at the birth of his 5th child, he's also shared the fact that his 2 eldest daughters were present for the birth. So we'll be asking, should you let your children watch you giving birth? Sean Wilby has the weather next. I'll see you again at 6:30. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.